Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of Brain Brew in celebration of sort of the American Inventor show that I was on this last week. I'm Doug Hall from the Eureka Ranch, co-host of Brain Brew, heard on public radio stations across the country, along with my co-host, Mr. David Wecker.
That's right, WECKER. So, and this was on ABC, prime time, your network national TV debut, American Inventor.
Yeah, and not only that, but it was the #1 show on Thursday night. So, you know, it's like
because of you, or
no, absolutely not because of me.
All right,
#1 show on Thursday night, highest ratings for ABC on a Thursday night in 3 years, is what they're saying.
And the show is about what?
It's American Idol for inventors. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
Okay. Instead of songs, people trot out their inventions.
Bring their inventions out. And also with us on the phone is our field producer who appears on Brain Brew, bringing us unique guests. So to get us some other perspective, it's Mr. Mark Twist from Belgrade, Maine. Hello, Mark.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, Dave. I saw you on TV last week.
Yes, I was on national TV, too. Not for as long a period as Doug Hall.
Well, it was nice to see you got some FaceTime, anyhow.
2 seconds, and that's enough for me.
So, Mark, what did you think of the show?
Oh, I thought it was a wicked hoot. We really enjoyed it up here, and geez, what a way to start the show with that dental hygienist from New York with his what do you call that thing?
The bladder buddy. The bladder buddy.
The bladder buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you should have called him on the naming of it.
What was the bladder buddy?
Oh, wait a minute, guys. You're not even going to... No, come on. This is Brain Brew, okay? We're a public radio show. The Bladder Buddy is a product. It's basically a suit carrier that you put around yourself so that you can do your #1. You can pee into it in public. It's sort of like a portable restroom is basically...
Well, that's right. The thing that looked like you got into a body bag.
Yeah, and it was absurd. It was stupid. It was ridiculous. I mean, here we're trying to celebrate American ingenuity. I mean, here they go in the thing. I said, if we don't get it together, we're going to be working for the Chinese. America, America. And then what do they roll out first? The Bladder Buddy. I mean, how absurd was that?
I like the name of it,
beautiful. Doug, you said, what did you say? I've seen thousands of inventions. No.
Okay. So that was ridiculous, right? You agree with me on that one, Mark?
Well, he needed to change the name.
The name?
Yeah.
Why? What would have helped him?
How about the Piss Poncho?
I don't know that could help him, Mark. I'm not sure. Although, frankly, if you think about it, though, the poncho idea would be a lot easier. But I'm wondering what people are going to say if you're standing by a bus stop and you're kind of fiddling with yourself down there.
That was the funniest part of it. He said the spectators, if you will, knew he was up to something unusual.
So now we've gotten a lot of responses, Mark, this week, from it, and I'm actually very excited. We've gotten actually thousands of responses of emails and saw a lot of reviews.
I pulled some off the line myself. Do you have any with you?
Yeah, I picked some. What'd you pick?
Well, here's one from Jill. I am kind of concerned about what she said. Considering our audience, she writes, Doug, you are a complete something hole. I hope the rest of your hair falls out and something on your body dry up and fall off your body. You need to have an open mind when hearing about other people's inventions.
Now, David, this is Brain Brew Unplugged, okay? It's Brain Brew Unplugged. This is adults. We're going to give a warning with this. Just read it. Read what she said.
Do you really want me to?
Yeah, I mean, I got to take it. I got to learn to take this.
Jill writes, Doug, you are a complete asshole. I hope the rest of your hair falls out and your testicles dry up and fall off your body. You need to have an open mind when hearing about other people's inventions. Kind of rough.
Oh, that was good. But David, there are some positive ones.
This
guy, it was pretty good. He said, this guy Scott wrote, he said, Doug, I had recently decided to shoot my television set. I turned it on for what I thought would be the last time this evening. By luck, your show was on. I paused with the gun in my hand and watched. I felt my grip on the pistol relax. Phew, finally, TV worth watching. But then he goes on to say, can we tour the Eureka Ranch? I have a wild group of Cub Scouts in Nashville that might make the trip. I mean, what kind of guy is this?
He's got the scout troop and he's got carrying around a handgun.
Mark, what do you think?
I want to see what that merit badge would look like.
Hey, here's another one, Doug. Dear Doug, do you have a personal problem with potential inventors who are better than you or your cozy little group of big-headed inventors at your ranch? For a short, bald-headed fat man, I'm just reading here.
Oh!
No, you need to be a little more human. This way you can get your fat head through a normal doorway. I want to thank you for wearing a Hawaiian shirt, but you would look better in a muumuu.
Yeah, but you're true. That's one thing that came across, Doug, is you're true. You're true to your values. You're true to yourself. You're true to everybody else. That's the big thing. And sometimes they just don't want to hear it, do they?
You know, I think the camera adds 30 pounds. What do you think? As best I can tell.
The camera
and it makes your hair look thinner, too.
All of the other judges, they're anorexic in truth. See, they're actually all anorexic. And then
Hey, how tall is that British fella?
6'8".
6'8". Holy moly.
And speaking of him, I mean, he's frankly, he's just a bit annoying. I got to tell you.
How so?
Well, he just, he's a venture capitalist. And these guys know what I think of venture capitalists, right?
Vulture capitalists, you often call them.
Vulture capitalists. Right. They're people without the imagination to create it. They find some dreamer who's got it. They basically steal the company from them, throw them out on their butt, and they just take money from them.
How does that apply to this guy?
Well, the problem here is Peter just doesn't have vision thing, He's got a problem with the vision thing. He has to see the thing complete. And I'm looking at these things, and I'm seeing diamonds in the rough. And frankly, let's face it, folks. Virtually everything we see, there's just not a lot there. But there's the spark of something that could be huge. And so I'm trying to, grow these things. And he's sitting there saying, but that's not what it is. And I'm like, Peter, have a little imagination. But he's British, so you got to understand him because they're British.
That's an interesting piece. There's 4 judges. It's a critical piece of the show. I would like to see some substance about inventing and inventions. You got a creative director from New York. You have a new product consultant, and you have, I guess you'd say, a venture capitalist. And then you're the who has the experience with the invention?
Well, okay, so I've done it.
There you go.
But guys, don't pile on. Okay, I've gotten those emails too.
Who got the hug from the buxom blonde?
Both Peter and I did.
Oh, okay.
But
his was at belt level.
I got to tell you though, and even though you see that these are made for TV fights as we get into this stuff. Although the fight that you did see was truly
it didn't look like it was fake.
No, it wasn't. It was real. But we are all friends, and we do get together. And she
to barbecue looks
at things differently. Ed looks at things differently. We all bring different perspectives to the whole thing. Okay, it's all different, and that's and I mean that. They're cool folks, and they frustrate me, and just like I know I frustrate them massively, because that's my job. We all have our jobs.
Well, that certainly seems to be the niche you're filling.
It would appear. Fortunately, there are some people out in the world who have sort of a different view on these things. And there's a guy up in Canada, Carl, who wrote me before the show, and he's a hardcore inventor. Because, let's face it, we don't have any real high, heavy-duty technical folks there. And he said, Doug, it's painfully obvious that you feel we inventors are just crackpots with silly, inquisitive minds. Shame on you for selling your soul, he said.
Really?
And this was before the show, and he was just hammering me. So after the show, he sent me another email, and I'm going, oh, great. I can imagine this. I hit open on this one. My computer's going to blow up because this guy was really ticked. He said, and there was a number of these. This guy, though, most of them just said, forget it, and I never heard from him again. But this guy heard from again. And he said, after watching American Inventors tonight, you have regained my respect. You added a sense of realism to fantasy, Mr. Hall. And I'm thinking pretty good, but then he goes on, because he's not going to be that easy. He's not going to just give it to me. He says, as long as you don't compromise yourself to be on the sides of the other judges and hold true to who you are, a sense of realism will prevail, and it'll make the show more palatable. So I'm not saying that he really likes the show, and I don't think he actually even likes me.
He's kind of tolerating, I guess.
We're tolerating is, I guess, is best we can get with it.
As long as he keeps tuning in, I guess, huh?
Yeah. The neat thing is that I did hear from one lady from Atlanta. She said that her high school junior, Michael, thinks the show is cool, and he thinks my Hawaiian shirts and no shoes is very cool. So, hey, I could be cool and hip with youth now, David. What do you think about that, huh?
Yeah, well, that little guy with the doggy air conditioner, he was pretty upset with you, but I guess you ended up winning him over again.
Well, I don't know that I did. And, in fact, that's a contest we've got this week, because the way they edited it, you didn't hear what the reason was. Folks, if you want this week, send an email to DougHall@DougHall.com with what do you think was the reason I sent Kyle packing home. What was the reason? And if you can come up with the reason, I'm not saying I'm right, but there was a very clear reason. I knew absolutely what the reason was. The ones that get it right, We'll put them in a hat. We'll take the top 3 or 4 of them. We'll send you a collection of books and cheesy tchotchka and stuff like that.
Am I eligible or I'm not eligible?
No, you're
How
not
about
eligible.
my family?
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
is
my
this
family?
the fella, the young fella?
The young
Hey,
fella.
little boy, yeah. The whiny kid.
The whiny kid.
wasn't
Why
whiny.
isn't he home playing video games like all the other kids in
If
America?
it wasn't a good idea, I wouldn't have thought of it.
You know, guys, we're proving why we need to be edited as we do this live. You know,
Oh, okay.
That's how it works. But you know, go ahead.
Do you ever feel do you ever feel like somebody's going to come across the room? Are you ever concerned about your safety?
Well, you have security now, don't you?
Yeah, he's talking about on the set, but yes,
Yeah, on the set.
Yes, Mark. I mean, you saw the guitar guy.
The guitar guy, he scared me.
Yes.
And I was sitting at home. He scared me too, and I was at home in my living room.
I thought he was going to come after you, and then when that big fellow with the weights, I knew you were going to approve him as soon as I saw him.
No, actually, there is security on the set, and I made it my thing to get very friendly with the security guys. I gave them copies of my books and talked with them a lot because, well,
Well, this has the potential to turn into another Jerry Springer.
Well, I just sensed that as time went on, guys, you got to understand, we're filming for like 12 to 14 hours a day, 10 days in a row. And when it gets to like 1 o'clock in the morning, you get a little short. And it would get a little irritating. And sometimes things are just like not going. And you say stuff and they get a little angry. So fortunately, the security guys, I took care of them so that they could help protect me in case I need it. But I don't think so. I'm very polite. I mean, you know, people have joked. They said, one of the reviewers said I'm a spineless Simon. And I like that because spineless as in I'm not going to be rude like he is. You know, I'm going to tell the truth like he does. But I'm going to do it.
Well, that's what these people deserve.
Well, but I like these folks because I got to tell you, even the foolish ones, and that's why you see me sometimes defending the foolish ones, at least they have the guts to get out there and do something with their lives, as opposed to the huddled masses that sit there and do nothing.
You know who was a gentleman like that, and you're talking about comes to mind, the old fella, the kind of the goat-like guy with the smoking gun. he was comical, but he's very sweet. And, he didn't have much there, and he was very polite. Oh, you turned him down. He didn't complain. He just went off, and
he was very nice.
Yeah.
Where did that smoke come from?
Oh, it's a thing that's used in food processing. Sometimes to smoke products, and it's got a cartridge in it and different.
So he was using something that somebody already had.
Yeah, he was reapplying it, which was good. You know, David, one of the things that people have been poking at me about is they said, "Are you the Simon?" We're talking about Simon, and I really, you know, when they first came to me back in October, Mark, I might have told you this, that when they first came to me in October, they said they were looking for, what they said on the phone is they said they're looking for a Simon-like character to be a dream basher.
Okay. That's not you.
Well, I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it because I said, that's not, I mean, I cheerlead these folks.
Yeah, that's not your DNA.
The kooks and crazies. I said, I'll be a truth teller. And they said, okay, yeah, that's fine. But I forgot the fact that they have control over the edit. So, see, that was
it's only bad truth that put you on, yeah.
Mistake. So I did it that way. And in fact, on the set, Simon gave me a couple times, he gave me some lines. Because when I first met him, he says, Doug, you know why you're here. You know, it was like, yeah. And so he'd give me lines to say. And I said him a couple times. And finally I realized, no, but Simon, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
And then he was getting kind of angry at me. Because he's like, but here's, Doug, like I did one, and he said, Doug, here's what I would have said. I said, and then finally I said,
yeah, that's you.
I said, Simon, I don't really care what you would say, because I'm not going to say that. And, you know, and you know, Simon, you know, I got to tell you, he's clearly been successful, and I have to be careful because he is my boss. You know, he is my boss.
So you can't. I mean, what? Can't you talk about him though?
Well, I mean, in the contract, I'm not supposed to. They say I'm not supposed to say anything negative. Okay, in the contract, I'm not supposed to say anything negative about the show. So,
well, you can tell the truth, though, can't you? The truth is maybe not positive, but it's not. The truth is the truth. You can't.
The truth.
Yeah.
The truth. Huh.
You've been in L.A. for a little while now. The truth is something we have in the Midwest and in Maine that means you don't vary from what's real.
Well, Mark, what do you think about this? Well, here's my problem with Simon. See, I'm not allowed to say anything negative, but David's saying, but I can say the truth. What do you think?
Well, it's, you know, you were just saying earlier that you were, you know, trying to identify with the younger folk, you know, that you could be, you know, a star with the young generation. And, you know, one of their big catchphrases is, hey, keep it real, dog.
Yeah.
You're in touch, man.
So I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's lay out the facts. The facts.
That doesn't mean I need to see your underwear out of the back of your pants.
Let's lay out the facts about Simon Cowell. Let's first off lay off what he said on Jay Leno. Let's make sure people understand what he said on Jay Leno. Here it is.
Do you have any sort of nasty judges that sort of some hard-hitting inventor types that, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous, you're an idiot, get out, go kill yourself?
Got a very annoying American who had a face designed to be slapped.
Really?
He's just, honest to God, the most annoying man I've ever met in my life. But he's very good on the show because he's a real know-it-all, and he has had experience, but he is amusing.
That's nice.
Well, see, at first I thought, well, he was talking about Ed. Possibly.
The creative director from New York, yeah. Well, but no, I think he definitely was talking about you,
You think
Doug,
so?
I'm afraid. I mean,
Well, it could be Ed. It could be Ed, right?
I suppose it could. Okay, maybe it is.
Well, Mark, what do you think?
Well, I guess if I was going to slap anybody, I guess it would be you.
Well, at first I was like going, okay, at least he didn't mention me by name. That was awful nice. And then I did an interview. I was born in Maine, but grew up in southern New Hampshire. And the local ABC affiliate, I got on the phone with them, and they said, have you heard what Simon said about you? I said, no. And then they played this for me from their interview with Simon. And this is what Simon said in my hometown. I mean, we're talking about relatives, neighbors, old high school girlfriends. I mean, everybody's hearing this, okay? This is what he said.
Now, Nashua, New Hampshire native Doug Hall is one of your judges.
Yes.
Yes, tell us about Doug and what he will bring to this show.
Doug is, and I'm not being rude, the most annoying person I have ever met in my life. It's just, if he could run a class in being obnoxious, he'd win it. But he's also good on the show because he's a know-it-all. Have you spoken to him?
I haven't spoken to him yet. We hope to do that soon.
He is very annoying.
He is very annoying. Hawaiian shirts and all, right?
Yeah, Hawaiian shirts, knows a lot about inventions. Look, I love Doug because he's passionate, he's very patriotic, which I like, but he is also...
Now he's trying to suck up at the end there, right?
You're patriotic. What?
I mean, he's a frickin' Brit saying this stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, this is not very nice, is it?
In a way, though, you could embrace this. Have you thought about
what
that?
What did you think, Mark?
Well, it sounded like he was describing himself there, didn't it?
Well, it seemed like it. And now, again, I don't want to stoop to his level, but I do want to lay out the facts. Okay?
And what are those?
Well, I mean, the facts are, is let's face it, Simon Cowell is, he's rude. I mean, and he's proud of being rude.
No, he says, I don't want to be rude, and then he goes on to be rude.
Right, but and his purpose in life is to be rude. And
That's
but,
nice.
As I thought about it more and as I've gotten to know him more, I've realized that while he's rude, I was trying to get to the source of the rudeness, and I think I finally found it. It's his brain, or shall we say, the lack of a brain that he has. And I'm just laying out the facts.
Snap.
No, the facts is, as you know, I'm a life member of Mensa, the High IQ Society, and I've not seen him at any meetings. And,
No.
and
Well, that's international, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's right, kids. And if you go to school, you could be as full of yourself as Uncle Doug someday.
It's ironic. This is American inventor, and yet there's a real heavy British influence with Simon and Peter.
I mean, this is outrageous. It's outrageous that the Brits would be there. Because, did you know, again, let's lay out the data. The data says that the Brits are 20 times less innovative when it comes to getting patents than the folks in the U.S.
That's the venture capitalist.
The vulture capitalist and Simon. I mean, here's these Brits who don't know anything about it. I mean, they have no clue about inventing. I mean, America is the place where the inventive spirit is. And here they are. You got Peter, who's an American wannabe. He wants to act like he's an entrepreneur. He's on his website, he's talking about it. He's an ultrapreneur. That's the Brits. They need a title to make themselves feel good.
Well, you can buy those titles.
That's all it is. He puts a fancy title on it, makes himself feel good.
That's what I understand.
That's what I understand, Freshfield.
Yeah, they're probably upset about the fact that you and I are both lords.
Only titularly.
At the College of Arms, I am the Lord of Threshfield, and you are the Lord of
not balls. Kirkby on the more side, but I did have the choice of I passed on the little balls.
So your sword is longer than his, huh?
Yeah, it's one of those things. So I mean, till next week, Mark. I mean, any last thoughts or advice as I go into the next week?
I watch your back. Bring an extra box of tissues for your judge to the left.
Don't be saying that.
Any other advice?
Well, it's good fun, and I will tell folks that, you know, while we've stayed away from talking about specific inventions because I really want to keep the secrets because they're pretty cool. I will tell you that, you know, in amongst all the chaos and the craziness, I mean, there is a Kelly Clarkson in this. I mean, what I mean by that is there is some spectacular inventions. Mm-hmm. As the show goes on, what makes it very cool is that the judges get to actually work with specific people. I've worked with now. I've got 3 people I'm working with. In fact, I fly out next week to work with them some more. Rocking. Absolutely rocking. And it's amazing what's happening.
Let me interrupt real quick. So do you each get 3 people to coach?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
So
it actually almost becomes a contest between the judges.
Well, they're trying to not say that. They're trying to keep it that it's all...
Yeah, but you want one of yours to win.
Well...
Shut up.
Yeah.
Snap.
No, the official company line is, no, of course I do. What are you, crazy? In fact, I told my 3 people, let me just tell you real clear. All 3 of you are going to win. You're going to win big time. And they looked at me like, but there can only be one win. No, you're going to win big time because what you're going to get is you're going to get an idea that's going to rock in this country. Right. That long after the noise and the hype of the TV show's gone, you're going to have a product that's really going to do. And I will tell you, all 3 of the folks that I'm working with are blow away. In fact, somebody asked me, one of the producers said, so Doug, who's your favorite of the 3? And I got to tell you, and I'm not backing off, but all 3 of them are awesome. They're awesome. And the transformation, that's what's going to make it so cool, is you get to see the transformation. I mean, we got to do this silliness, the foolishness of the casting call and the audition shows, and it's good laughs and fun. But the real meat of this show, is in the middle, where you're going to see these people go through the transformation. And America's going to learn what's it take and how does it work. And that, to me, is the coolest part of this whole show.
Is one of them the Space Beatles guy?
No, he didn't go through. He didn't go through, and you're not going to start asking me questions. So
now, do you work with anybody from the first show?
I'm not answering that either. I'm not going to answer anything. I'm not going to answer anything.
You're taking the 5th?
I'm not going to answer anything. I'm not going to tell anybody who thinks that
do you like women?
At any point that they can guess the 3. If you can guess the 3 that I work with.
What do you get?
Send an email to Doug Hall at DougHall.com. If you can guess the 3 that I work with, we'll...
Hawaii, trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, here again, Mark, you are...
I tell you what, if you can guess the 3 that I selected, you can come to the ranch for a day. I'll give you a free day of consulting, working on your business, helping you with your product, whatever it is. Usually we charge ridiculous sums of money for that, or I'll come to your place for a day to work with you. If you can guess the 3... The 3 that I picked. Only 1 submission per person allowed, or from...
And only 1 winner.
And there'll be 1 winner. If you can guess the 3 that I do, which comes out in show 5.
And Mark, you and I and members of our family are ineligible.
Really?
All members of the Eureka Ranch and the Eureka Ranch subsidiaries are...
Hey, David, how long before we see his ugly puss on the cover of People magazine?
I'm going to say at the beginning of the 2nd season.
No, not going to happen. I mean, hey, guys, thanks a bunch. This is fun. Let's do this again next week. Have some laughs and some jokes about it. I got to tell you, I was frankly surprised. I mean, I was
very proud of you. I thought you put a good show together there.
Well, I was surprised because, looking at it, as one of the producers said, if you're looking for The Sopranos, this isn't going to be it. It's reality TV. But they truly do, as I put up on the website, reality TV folks are very good at doing one thing great, which is something we preach. Do one thing great. And they really focus on entertainment. Okay, so with that, we're done for this week. And talk to you next week, folks.
See you next.
This is Brain Brew.